everyone! Today we are going to learn about the terminology from aviation industry. Are you excited? Should we start now? Here's come to see our contents. We will have 6 topics to learn today, which are land side, air side, concourse, terminal meaning and design, runway, and the last one is airside marking and signage. The landside area is open to the public, which is an area where people who do not travel can enter and exit without control, such as roads for general ground traffic, parking, and passenger check-in area. The airside area is a tightly controlled, secure area of the airport, beginning with a security checkpoint in the terminal, extending to the fence surrounding the airfield. The key elements in the aviation zones are runway, taxiway, apron, and control tower.
Next is concourse. Concourse is the part of the building that is designed for the passenger to be able to enter the aircraft through the gate, and the aircraft to be able to park. There is a boarding gate for getting on the plane and a seat for waiting. For terminal. Terminal is a building in the airport where passengers transfer from the ground transportation to the facility that allows them to board airplanes. Within the terminal, passengers can purchase the ticket, during check-in process, transfer their luggage, and go through the security. Difference between terminal and concourse. Concourse is a part of the terminal building, which can have more than one concourse in one terminal. Major elements are to park the aircraft, load and unload passengers.
Next, we will go on terminal design.
Terminal design 1. Pier. A pier design is a small and narrow building with aircraft parked on both sides. One end connects to the ticketing and baggage claim area. Piers offer high aircraft capacity and simplicity of design, but often result in a long distance from the check-in counter to the gate. Most large international airports have this design. 2. Open apron. The oldest and simplest terminal in which aircraft park on the apron immediately next to the terminal, and passengers walk across the apron to board the aircraft by mobile steps. 3. Linear. The linear or gate arrival concept was devised to eliminate long distances between the place of arrival and the aircraft. It allows a passenger to be driven right up from the gate to the aircraft. 4. Transporter. The transporter concept originated as a method of reducing aircraft maneuvering on the apron and of eliminating the need of passengers to climb up and down stairways in order to enter or exit the aircraft. 5. Remote pier. In this concept, passengers are brought out to a remote pier by automatic people mover, and they embark or disembark in the conventional manner. 6. Satellite. A satellite terminal is a building detached from other airport buildings, so that aircraft can park around its entire circumference. The first airport to use a satellite terminal was London Gatwick Airport. It used an underground pedestrian tunnel to connect the satellite to the main terminal. Taxiway. A taxiway is a path for aircraft at airport connecting runways with aprons, terminals, and other facilities. They mostly have a hard surface such as asphalt or concrete. There is a general rule on safe speed based on obstacles. Operators and aircraft manufacturers might have limits. Typical taxi speeds are 20 to 30 knots. At busy airports typically construct high-speed or rapid exit taxiway to allow aircraft to leave the runway at higher speeds. This allows the aircraft to vacate the runway quicker. Taxiway have a normal centerline yellow centerline. For night operation, taxiways at many airports are equipped with the light. Blue light is the edge light. Green light is center light. And red light is stop bar light.
Next is runway. Runway length and width can vary greatly. It has wide outline with a dashed line down the center. The runway needs to be long enough for the departing aircraft to gain enough speed to take off. The heavier aircraft, longer and wider the runway needs to be. Airside marking. The airdrome is to provide visual guidance for the aircraft to take off, land, and navigate around the airside in daylight conditions to aid the various phases of flight, such as takeoff, approach, and land, and surface movements. So let's look at some examples of markings. First is runway markings. Runway designator. Identify the name of runway by the runway's orientation. Runway center line. Identify the center of runway. Runway threshold. Identify the beginning of runway is available for landing. Aiming point. Serves as a visual aiming point for a landing aircraft. Touchdown zone. Identify the touchdown zone for landing orientations. Runway edge. Identify the edge of runway. Next is taxiway markings. Taxiway center line. Identify the center of taxiway. Taxiway edge. Identify the edge of taxiway. Taxi holding position. Identify the boundary between entrance, exit, and the bypass of taxiway and runway. So let's move on signature. The airdrome is to assist the pilot's orientation on the airport movement area through the instruction and information, mainly consisting two types of signs. That is a mandatory interaction signs and the information signs.
Next, I will talk about airport sign and markings. For this part, I will give some examples. For the first one is no entry. It is identify paved area where aircraft entry is prohibited. So it is the location that aircraft should not enter. Taxiway location is identify taxiway on which aircraft is located. Next is runway location. It also identify runway on which aircraft is located. For the right part is runway access. It says define direction and designation of exit taxiway from runway. For outbound destination, it's define direction to take off runways. For inbound destination, it's define direction for arriving aircraft. And the last one is taxiway ending markers. It indicates taxiway does not continue.
Next, I will show you about the video of airport sign and marking.
Signage helps pilots navigate their way around an unfamiliar airport and is important for safety by helping to identify crucial intersections and crossing runways. Taxiway striping and signs work just like roadway stop signs and traffic lights to help prevent traffic conflicts. The runway numbers on the sign are arranged to indicate which direction the beginning of each runway is. In this example, 1533 indicates that the beginning of runway 15 is to the left, and the beginning of runway 33 is to the right. This is not to be confused with which direction you need to turn to take off on a specific runway. If you were assigned to take off on runway 33 from your current location, you would need to turn left, even though the number 33 is on the right side of the sign. The final mandatory instruction sign we'll discuss is the sign prohibiting aircraft entry into an area. This sign is typically used on a taxiway intended to be used for one-way traffic, or on a vehicle road, so aircraft don't mistake it as a taxiway.
Thanks you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching our video.